Why 32 degrees of insanity, Donnie? What is the significance of that? Well, some people have really tried to figure this out in very weird ways. And I remember there was a one guy on YouTube that tried to figure out why I called it 32 degrees of insanity. And he basically kind of took it all apart and by numerology and basically trying to prove that I was some sort of satanic fear-mongering type of man. And basically the story is, of course, I'm a 32-degree Freemason. So we had the 32 degrees. And of course, Donnie's a little crazy because we talk about a lot of weird stuff on this show. And over the course of the next month or so, we have a lot of things going on here. If you want, you can follow us on Facebook. You can reach us over at www.facebook.com/32 degrees of insanity, just all one word. And with that, we have our new schedule up. So I'm going to tell you who the guests are that are coming up here in the next few weeks. We have Trey, of course, the Kbeach general manager. He will be here right around 9:30 or so. Him and I are going to get into some deep talks about conspiracy theories, kind of what is false and what is true and what could be and what could be not. Next week, Leo Lion Zagami. Leo Lion Zagami was born in the Illuminati. He is a 33rd degree Freemason and also a 98th degree Freemason in the Freemason Memphis Mizraim, which goes all the way up to 99 degrees. The Ancient Accepted Masons, which I am a member of here in the United States, only goes up to 33rd degree, and that is of the Scottish Rite, and of course the York Rite, which I am also a member, where I am a Knights Templar. We will be having Leo Zagami and CCC Publishing. Brad Olson, he is the owner of CCC Publishing. Leo is coming out with a new book called Confessions of the Illuminati. And Leo currently right now lives in Italy. He was here living in Long Beach for a while as we were trying to figure out how to get his particular book translated from Italian to English. And he did a show with Sean Stone. Sean Stone has got, who Oliver Stone's son is doing a show here locally in Long Beach called Lip TV. Actually, it's in Los Angeles. Sean Stone, very well known as a consultant with Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theory. Alfred Weber, who was on the show last week, was also a consultant for the Jesse Ventura Conspiracy Theory Network as well. On 10/2, we will be bringing on Laura Eisenhower. And Laura Eisenhower is the great-granddaughter of Dwight D. Eisenhower. We're going to be taking with her a little bit about what we talked about last week with Alfred in regards to the Project Pegasus time travel program with Andrew Brizago, Alfred Weber, Barack Obama as well, who is a part of this jump room technology into Mars, into Project Pegasus, which is all about time travel. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. We're trying to get Carrie Cassidy on the show. If you're familiar with Carrie Cassidy and her work with Project Camelot, we're trying to bring her on the show. And then on 10/16, I am going to be having Minister Kenneth Emmanuel from Sound Doctrine Spiritual Ministries. That is one show you're going to want to listen to, because if you are a Christian or if you are a believer in a higher power of sorts, you are going to want to listen to this show, because we are going to be talking about, could the end of the world be on its way? Or are we kind of going down this positive timeline that Alfred and I talked about last week? That is going to be a great show. And then on 10/23, this is going to be a very important show, and I hope that all of my Long Beach police officers out there listening tonight, because I'm going to be bringing my dear friend, Chuck Gollop. He is a retired captain of the Bloomington Police Department. He worked with the Gang Task Force, and we are going to kind of talk about the misconceptions of police brutality, the status of the police force in today's society. This is going to be a very interesting show, because we're going to talk about the two sides of the coin. How police system, as I told you guys last week, I come from a police family. My father was a Ramsey County sheriff back in Minnesota. My grandfather was the captain of the St. Paul Police Department. My grandmother was the first deputy sheriff ever to be deputized in the state of Minnesota. So it's going to be a great show, and that is going to happen on 10/23 with my good friend Chuck Gollop. I've known this guy since I was 3 years old. We used to play cops and robbers when we were little kids, and I was the cop and he was the robber, I never quite understood how that got flipped around. But it should be a very, very good show indeed. And then on 10:30, I am putting this together. I want to head up to Rob Zombie's Great American Nightmare. And that is going to be up, I think it's about 10 or 15 miles away from Long Beach. We're going to do a show broadcasting right from Rob Zombie's haunted house. And this is supposed to be a very gruesome and very intense type of haunted house. So we should see how that turns out. I'm really excited for that. So we got a lot of things happening from September to October. So definitely tune in every Thursday night right here on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. I also want to talk about an article that was written about Alfred Weber and myself. It was a post about Alfred on Starship Earth, the Big Picture. And this is, I want to read this to you. We had talked about a few weeks back, actually in August, when the whole Ebola scare was going on. We had a particular episode, and it's you can Google it on or look for it on YouTube, Donny Gillson, Alfred Weber on the Ebola scare, where we talked about this false flag and how we believe that this is part of the transhumanist agenda. And if you are familiar, we'll talk a little bit later when we get Trey here. We'll talk about Agenda 21, which is a depopulation program, the Georgia Guidestones, the possibility of a UFO disclosure that maybe reptilian races are out there to destroy mankind. Are these things absolutely possible? David Icke, I don't know if you've ever heard of David Icke. David Icke has talked about these type of reptilian type of humanoids. And it's weird because Weird Al Yankovic, and, I've loved this guy since I was a little kid, came out with this song, which is a parody of the song Royal. And he talks about tin foil, and that's the foil. And he talks about these conspiracies and how the reptilians, and at the end of the video, you see one of the guys rip off his face, and there he's a reptilian. Is there a reptilian agenda? Who knows? It is possible. I mean, David Wilcock has talked about it. David Icke has talked about it. So many people have talked about the reptilian agenda.